Hello everyone. Welcome to English Storybook YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn about most famous forest in Japan, Forest Aokigahara. Learn, enjoy, and stay with us for upcoming beautiful stories. For the best practices, you are kindly requested to imitate the sentences after me. Let's start the story. The Sea of Trees. Folklore and the Haunted History of Forest Aokigahara. Chapter 1. General History of the Forest Aokigahara. Aokigahara is a forest located at the northwest base of Mount Fuji in Japan. It is often called the Jukai, which translates to the Sea of Trees. From a distance, the forest looks like a lush green ocean. However, it holds a dual identity. To some, it is a place of extreme natural beauty and geological interest. To many others, it is known by a darker name, the Suicide Forest. It is also a place of deep sadness. One common myth is that compasses do not work in Aokigahara. While it is true that the magnetic iron in the volcanic soil can cause slight needle fluctuations, modern compasses and GPS devices generally work fine. However, the forest is so dense and the landmarks so repetitive that it is incredibly easy to become disoriented. The forest spans approximately 30 square kilometers. It sits on a hardened bed of lava left by the massive eruption of Mount Fuji in the year 864 CE. This unique foundation has created a landscape unlike any other on Earth. This essay explores the physical, historical, and social layers of Aokigahara to understand why it remains one of the most misunderstood places in the world. Chapter 2. The Physical Landscape. The forest grew on a hardened layer of lava. This lava came from a major eruption of Mount Fuji in the year 864 CE. The forest is unique because of its floor. The lava rock is very hard. Tree roots cannot grow deep into the soil. Instead, the roots crawl across the surface. They wrap around rocks and each other. This creates a tangled, mossy floor. Walking off the path is very dangerous. The forest is also very quiet. The porous lava rock absorbs sound. There is very little wind on the forest floor. There are not many animals or birds compared to other forests. This silence can feel heavy. Many visitors say the forest feels dead or still. The density of the trees is another factor. The sunlight struggles to reach the ground. Even at noon, it can feel like twilight. The trees are mostly hemlock, cedar, and cypress. They grow very close together. It is very easy to lose your way. If you step 10 feet off the trail, you might lose sight of the path. Chapter 3. The Compass Myth and Reality. Many legends surround Aokigahara. One famous legend involves compasses. People say compasses do not work there. They claim the needles spin wildly. This is partly true, but mostly exaggerated. The volcanic rock contains magnetic iron. This can cause minor interference. However, a high-quality compass usually works fine. GPS devices can also struggle. The thick canopy blocks satellite signals. The repetitive landscape makes every direction look the same. There are few landmarks. This is why many people get lost. They leave the designated paths. Once they leave the path, they cannot find their way back. This physical disorientation adds to the forest's mystery. Chapter 4. The Sound of Silence. One of the most striking things about Aokigahara is the silence. The lava rock is very porous. It is filled with tiny holes. These holes act like acoustic foam. They absorb sound waves. When you walk into the forest, the sounds of the outside world disappear. You cannot hear cars or city noise. You often cannot even hear the wind. This silence can be peaceful. For many, however, it is unsettling. It creates a feeling of isolation. In most forests, you hear birds or insects. In Aokigahara, wildlife is surprisingly scarce. The lack of sound makes every footstep feel heavy. Chapter 5. Cultural History and Folklore. Aokigahara has a long history in Japanese folklore. Some stories involve yurei. These are ghosts or restless spirits. In ancient times, people believed the forest was cursed. There are legends of ubasute. This was a mythical practice of leaving elderly relatives in the woods to die. Most historians say this did not happen often. However, the stories stayed in the public mind. These legends gave the forest a dark reputation. People began to associate the woods with death. Literature also played a role. In the 1960s, Seicho Matsumoto wrote a novel called Kuroi Jukai. In the book, two lovers end their lives in the forest. This book was very popular. It reinforced the idea of Aokigahara as a place for the end of life. Chapter 6. Folklore and Yurei. Japanese folklore is filled with stories of yurei, or ghosts. It is believed that those who die in a state of great anger, sadness, or regret become restless spirits. Local legends suggest that Aokigahara is haunted by these souls. Chapter 7. The Myth of Ubasute. There are dark legends regarding a practice called ubasute. This was a mythical custom where families would take elderly or infirm relatives to a remote forest to die during times of famine. While there is little historical evidence that this happened frequently in Aokigahara, the stories have added a layer of historical tragedy to the woods. Chapter 8. Spiritual Beliefs. In Japanese folklore, the forest is said to be haunted by yurei. These are angry ghosts or spirits. People believe these spirits led hikers off the paths. They believe the forest itself wants to keep people inside. Even for those who do not believe in ghosts, the forest has a heavy energy. The combination of the thick trees, the lack of wind at the ground level, and the absence of wildlife sounds creates a feeling of isolation. Chapter 9. The Human Impact. The Japanese government takes this issue very seriously. They no longer publish the exact number of deaths in the forest. They do this to avoid making the site more popular for those in distress. Signs are posted at the entrance of the forest. These signs do not focus on rules. Instead, they focus on life. They say things like, "Your life is a precious gift from your parents. Please talk to the police before you decide to die. Think about your family and children." The local community also plays a role. Workers and police officers patrol the forest. They look for people who are wandering alone. They try to offer help and intervention. Chapter 10. The Plastic Tape Phenomenon. If you walk through Aokigahara, you will see plastic tape. This tape is often tied to trees. It is usually bright colors, like yellow or red. People who are unsure about their decision use this tape. They tie it to a tree near the path. They unwind it as they walk deeper into the woods. This is a trail of breadcrumbs. If they change their mind, they can follow the tape back. It is a visual representation of hesitation. Some tapes lead to empty campsites. Others lead to tragedies. Seeing the tape is a haunting experience. It shows that many people are torn between life and death. Chapter 11. The Role of the Forest Rangers. Forest rangers have a difficult job in Aokigahara. They maintain the trails for tourists, but they also perform body searches. These searches happen regularly. It is a grim task. The rangers find personal belongings left behind. They find tents and abandoned backpacks. When they find a body, they must treat it with respect. They coordinate with the local police. This work takes a heavy emotional toll on the workers. They see the reality of despair every day. They are often the last people to interact with the victims. Their goal is to return the deceased to their families. Chapter 12. Efforts for Prevention. The Japanese government does not want the forest to be famous for suicide. They have taken many steps to prevent deaths. Signs. At the entrance of the forest, there are large signs. They do not say "stay out." They ask people to think of their families. They provide phone numbers for suicide hotlines. Patrols. There are forest watchers. These are volunteers and police officers. They walk the trails. They look for people who seem distressed. Cameras. Security cameras are installed at the trailheads. They monitor who enters the forest. The tape. You will often see colorful plastic tape in the forest. This is left by people who are undecided. They tie the tape to trees so they can find their way back out if they change their minds. The goal is to provide a cooling-off period. If someone talks to a volunteer, they might choose to live. Chapter 13. The Tourism. Ironically, the forest is a popular tourist spot. Many people visit the Narusawa Ice Cave and the Fugaku Wind Cave. These are beautiful natural formations. Most tourists stay on the designated paths. They see the forest as a beautiful park. The dark side of the forest is often hidden from view if you stay on the main trails. Chapter 14. The Nature of the Forest Today. If you visit Aokigahara today, you will see two worlds. One world is the world of hikers. They wear bright clothes. They carry cameras. They admire the moss and the trees. They are there to enjoy nature. The other world is hidden. It is deeper in the woods. It is where the plastic tape leads. It is where the silence is the heaviest. This part of the forest remains a site of mourning. The forest itself is neutral. It is just trees and rocks. It is humans who have given it this meaning. The trees do not judge. The moss does not care. The forest continues to grow. It covers the lava. It reaches for the sky. Chapter 15. Key facts about Aokigahara. Location: Yamanashi Prefecture, Japan. Size: approximately 30 square kilometers. Ground type: basaltic lava from 864 AD eruption. Nickname: Jukai, the Sea of Trees. Common flora: cypress, hemlock, and shrubbery. Chapter 16. Conclusion. Aokigahara is a complex place. It is a symbol of Japan's struggle with mental health. It is a reminder of the legends of the past. It is also a beautiful natural wonder. We must look at the forest with empathy. We should not view it as a ghost story. We should view it as a place where people are hurting. The efforts of the volunteers show the best of humanity. They provide hope in a dark place. The sea of trees will always be there. Mount Fuji will always watch over it. The goal for the future is change. People want the forest to be a place of life again. They want the silence to be peaceful, not lonely. To help someone is the best way to honor the forest. If we look after each other, perhaps the sea of trees can just be a forest again.